in the scrutiny of having to go out on a nightly basis, Jordan never had to worry about that. The man said in The Last Dance, this is why he said he retired, Molly.
Yeah.
He said he retired due to mental fatigue and burnout.
Welcome back to NBA Flash, the only channel where basketball debates don't just get argued. They get dissected, challenged, and stripped down to the truth. And today's topic? It's a spicy one that has reignited the GOAT conversation in a completely new way. Shannon Sharpe recently sent shockwaves through the basketball world when he stated that LeBron James has faced far more scrutiny than Michael Jordan ever did. That statement alone was enough to divide fans instantly. But is it actually true? Or is it just another hot take designed to stir controversy and rack up clicks? In this video, we're breaking down every layer of Shannon Sharpe's argument. We're analyzing how the media has evolved, how public pressure has multiplied, and how the mythos surrounding Michael Jordan compares to the reality LeBron James lives in today. Stick with us until the end, because this breakdown might genuinely change the way you look at the GOAT debate, not by choosing sides, but by understanding context. And if you're ready to dive deep into NBA legacy talk, don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a drop from NBA Flash. Shannon Sharpe's first and most important point is this. LeBron James faces more scrutiny than Michael Jordan ever did because Jordan never had to deal with social media. And that statement hits harder the more you think about it. In Jordan's era, basketball coverage was controlled and filtered. Fans consumed highlights on television, read post-game interviews in newspapers, and occasionally flipped through magazines that carefully shaped the narrative. The image of Michael Jordan wasn't just reported. It was curated, polished, and often protected. There were gatekeepers everywhere. Sports journalists, TV hosts, editors, and beat writers who decided what stories made it to the public and what stayed behind closed doors. LeBron James, on the other hand, plays in an entirely different world. Every single game, he steps into an arena filled with thousands of camera phones, ready to capture every movement. The moment the ball leaves his hands, Twitter reacts. YouTube fills with instant hot takes. Reddit threads explode with breakdowns. Instagram reels analyze his body language. TikTok clips turn moments into memes within seconds. Every missed free throw, every facial expression, every off-court tweet is dissected, spun, and weaponized. It's not just ESPN critiquing him anymore. It's millions of people playing armchair analyst at the same time. That level of constant judgment creates a pressure Jordan never experienced. Michael Jordan had bad games, plenty of them, but those nights didn't live forever. They weren't instantly clipped, looped, memed, and turned into viral slander. LeBron, meanwhile, has to play near-perfect basketball just to keep the noise from turning into a full-blown storm. One off night can dominate headlines for days. One loss can redefine narratives overnight. And this is where Shannon Sharpe wants fans to pause. This isn't about who's more talented. It isn't about rings or stats or clutch shots. It's about who is playing under the harshest microscope. In today's world, that microscope doesn't just observe, it burns. Jordan faced pressure, no doubt about it. But the scope, the scale, and the intensity of what LeBron deals with exist in an entirely different universe. LeBron isn't just playing basketball. He's performing greatness in real time, under nonstop surveillance, with no escape from a noise. And that reality changes everything.
Talking about the scrutiny that LeBron has to go through because there was no social media.
In this next quote, Shannon backs Rich Paul's claim that Michael Jordan never had to deal with true 24/7 coverage, and he really drives the point home in a way that feels impossible to ignore. In today's world, anyone with a smartphone instantly becomes a scout, a general manager, or a head coach in their own mind, and that's not an exaggeration. It's the modern reality of sports culture. During Jordan's reign, the news cycle had a clear ending point. Once the newspaper hit your doorstep or the local sports segment signed off, the conversation stopped and the noise faded. There was no non-stop flood of opinions waiting to restart the moment a player stepped off the court. Today, with YouTube film breakdowns, Twitter threads, TikTok clips, Instagram debates, and live stream reactions, LeBron James isn't just competing on a hardwood floor. He's performing inside a digital arena that never sleeps. A missed defensive rotation can turn into a viral video within minutes. And looking tired during a back-to-back can spark thousands of memes before the final buzzer even sounds. Shannon's observation that the internet has turned every fan into an armchair expert hits hard because it perfectly explains the crushing weight of modern superstardom. Jordan's critics were limited in number, and when they spoke, it was through edited columns or carefully controlled interviews. LeBron's critics, on the other hand, are loud, relentless, unfiltered, and everywhere, from national TV debates to Twitch streams and comment sections. No NBA star in history has ever had to deal with pressure at this scale, and Shannon is absolutely right to point out how dramatically this reshapes the burden of greatness. Jordan became a legend in his era, but LeBron is performing in a world where legends are constantly questioned, dissected, and torn down long before they ever retire.
Was absolutely right. There was no 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365, in which we had an idea. And what the internet has done is turned the common person into a head coach, into a general manager, into a scout.
In Shannon Sharpe's third point, he lays out a harsh reality that defines LeBron James' entire career. Even when LeBron dominates, it's still never enough for the public. If LeBron drops 50 points, the response isn't praise, it's someone saying Magic would have scored 60. And if he breaks a major record, the counter is that Bird might have gone for 80 in his prime. This creates a no-win scenario that LeBron lives in constantly, fueled by revisionist nostalgia and amplified by digital echo chambers where the past is always romanticized. When Michael Jordan dropped 50 in the 90s, the headlines celebrated him, and fans admired the moment without instantly stacking it against 10 imaginary performances from other legends. There was appreciation before comparison. LeBron, on the other hand, is measured against ghosts, and that's exactly what Shannon is getting at. LeBron isn't just competing against the players on the floor. He's constantly being judged against hypotheticals that can never be tested or disproven. And here's the real kicker. Even when LeBron wins, the narrative still twists against him. If he records a triple-double, people say Kobe would have dropped 70. If he wins a championship, the argument becomes that he had too much help. Shannon's point exposes how unfair and constantly shifting the bar is for LeBron. Jordan never had to prove himself every single night to anonymous avatars, viral accounts, or millions of sports pages chasing engagement. And while none of this takes away from MJ's greatness, it clearly highlights how today's superstars, especially LeBron, are forced to survive in an unforgiving media environment where the goalposts never stop moving.
They get to have an opinion. See, Michael would score 50 points, and they never said, well, Larry would have scored 65. Magic would have gave you 8.
Sharpe continues his case by highlighting how modern fans are quick to dismiss LeBron James' achievements almost the moment they happen. If LeBron records a triple-double, instead of appreciating the performance, it's immediately overshadowed by imaginary stat lines about what Jordan or Kobe supposedly would have done in the same situation. This type of mentality is dangerous because it distorts reality and shifts the conversation away from what actually happened on the court. Michael Jordan didn't have to deal with this kind of constant hypothetical comparison. His greatness was accepted at face value, celebrated in the moment, and rarely questioned through daily what-if scenarios. LeBron, on the other hand, is forced to compete with fantasy versions of past legends that can never be proven or disproven. Even when he wins, even when he dominates, there's always a lingering sense from the public that it still isn't enough. That's not how sports are supposed to work. Shannon's frustration reflects how biased, reactionary, and engagement-driven today's media culture has become. Instead of recognizing how rare and unprecedented LeBron's production is in his 20th season, fans get trapped in endless what-if arguments that strip the moment of its brilliance. It's not that MJ didn't face challenges or criticism. It's that the discourse around him was focused, respectful, and largely celebratory. LeBron, meanwhile, faces his challenges under a non-stop avalanche of dismissive noise, which only makes Sharpe's argument feel even more compelling and hard to ignore.
LeBron gets a triple-double, then they say, man, Kobe Jordan would have had 76 points. So that's what he's up against.
In this quote, Shannon Sharpe lays it out plainly. LeBron James has to endure a completely different level of scrutiny every single night he steps on the floor. And he's absolutely right. Whether it's a nationally televised primetime Lakers game or a random Tuesday matchup in a smaller market, the expectations attached to LeBron are sky high the moment the ball tips. If he doesn't dominate, social media pounces instantly, labeling the performance a disappointment or a failure. If he does dominate, critics respond by saying that's exactly what he was supposed to do, as if excellence from him is merely the baseline. It creates a never-ending cycle where the bar is constantly moving and satisfaction is impossible. Jordan, by comparison, had the luxury of being watched rather than monitored. There's a massive difference between waiting for a newspaper column the next morning and trending worldwide before the final buzzer even sounds. LeBron has no room for an off night, no grace period to recalibrate, and no quiet space to regroup mentally. It's perform or perish every single game, regardless of context, fatigue, or circumstance. MJ faced intense pressure, no question, but he didn't have to carry the psychological fatigue of an online arena that never sleeps, never forgets, and never forgives. That constant digital noise is a different kind of monster altogether. Shannon isn't exaggerating for effect here. He's pointing to a hard truth about modern superstardom and explaining why, in this era, the crown LeBron wears is undeniably heavier.
The scrutiny of having to go out on a nightly basis, Jordan never had to worry about that.
When Shannon Sharpe brings up the power of a simple camera phone, he's touching on something far deeper than basketball criticism or on-court expectations. He's pointing directly at the erosion of privacy in the modern era. In Michael Jordan's time, what happened off the court largely stayed off the court unless it rose to the level of a major headline or tabloid cover. Moments were filtered, delayed, and often verified before reaching the public. Today, a single out-of-context video clip, recorded in seconds, can ignite narratives that spiral completely out of control before facts even exist. LeBron James has to worry about paparazzi, fans recording every movement, and even teammates or bystanders unintentionally leaking moments from what should be private spaces. He isn't just playing basketball anymore. He's living under constant observation, even during moments that are supposed to be personal or off-duty. Shannon emphasizes that entire reputations, relationships, and business ventures have been damaged or destroyed by one poorly framed phone clip, regardless of intent or truth. That's the environment LeBron has survived in for over 2 decades, navigating fame in real time with no buffer. MJ may have dealt with media attention and tabloid stories, but he never lived inside a global surveillance system powered by social media, instant uploads, and clickbait culture. LeBron is arguably the most visible athlete in human history, and that level of exposure creates a uniquely relentless pressure that goes far beyond wins, losses, or stat lines.
Do you know how many relationships, do you know how many businesses have been ruined with this? That camera phone? Ooh-wee!
In his final quote, Shannon Sharpe delivers what might be the most sobering and difficult truth of the entire conversation. Michael Jordan himself openly admitted in The Last Dance that he walked away from basketball because of mental exhaustion. The pressure, the expectations, the constant demand to be perfect, it burned him out. And that was in an era without social media, without camera phones everywhere, without podcasts dissecting every sentence, without 24-hour debate cycles replaying every mistake on loop. Jordan faced immense pressure, but it came in waves. It had pauses. It had silence. So Shannon asked the uncomfortable but necessary question. What does that say about LeBron James? LeBron has endured all of that and more for over 20 years, and he still hasn't stepped away. From a moment he was a teenager labeled the chosen one, LeBron has lived inside an unrelenting spotlight that has only grown harsher with time. Every playoff loss became a referendum on his legacy. Every finals appearance turned into ammunition for critics. Every quote, tweet, or facial expression became content. And yet, year after year, season after season, he keeps showing up. Shannon's message is not subtle. Do not underestimate the mental toughness required to be LeBron James. Jordan burned out under the pressure of his era. LeBron has been operating under a brighter, louder, hotter spotlight, one that never shuts off, and he continues to compete at an elite level while holding himself to standards that no other athlete in history has been asked to meet. That kind of durability isn't accidental. It's not luck. It's resilience on a scale the sport has never seen. Shannon makes it crystal clear. If you respect Michael Jordan for pushing through adversity, you must respect LeBron James for enduring an even greater storm without ever walking away. Not once. Not when the criticism was loudest. Not when the losses were most painful. Not when the expectations became unreasonable. That isn't weakness. That isn't entitlement. That is unprecedented mental strength, and it deserves to be acknowledged whether you crown him the GOAT or not.
Man said in The Last Dance, this is why he said he retired, Molly.
Yeah.
He said he retired due to mental fatigue and burnout.
So where does that really leave us in the GOAT debate? According to Shannon Sharpe, it doesn't end with a simple ranking or a clean conclusion. He isn't trying to tear Michael Jordan down, and he isn't blindly crowning LeBron James either. What Shannon is doing is reframing the entire conversation. Jordan was undeniably great, iconic, dominant in a way that defined an era. But LeBron's greatness has been forged under fire in a completely different world that LeBron has had to be great while being watched at all times. Not just by fans in the arena, but by millions online every single night. Every mistake is clipped, replayed, memed, and debated. Every win is minimized. Every loss is magnified. He's competing in an era where opinions never sleep, narratives never die, and history is constantly rewritten in real time. Sustaining excellence in that environment isn't just difficult. It's unprecedented. Jordan was a god of his era. His image was protected, his mythology carefully shaped, his flaws largely hidden from public view. LeBron, on the other hand, has lived his entire career in the open. His failures, his growth, his reinventions, his comebacks. Everything has unfolded in front of the world. He hasn't just had to dominate on the hardwood. He's had to survive a digital age that critiques instantly and remembers forever. That's why Shannon's argument hits so hard. This debate isn't just about rings, finals records, or highlight reels. It's about context. It's about pressure. It's about what it means to carry the weight of greatness in different eras. Jordan mastered his time. LeBron has endured his. And maybe, just maybe, that endurance makes LeBron's legacy heavier than we're willing to admit. That the GOAT debate doesn't really end here. It evolves. It forces us to ask better questions. Not just who is better, but who had to overcome more. And that's why this conversation will never truly be settled. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another deep dive from NBA. Drop a comment below. Do you think LeBron faces more scrutiny than MJ ever did? Let the debate begin.